Joining us now to talk more about this, our political panel tonight, Matt Klink, Republican strategist, and Kurt Bardella, NewsNation political contributor. Gentlemen, so great to see you both, as always. Matt, I want to start with you. What is your reaction, first of all, to NewsNation's Batya saying that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem should be fired?
Yeah, she hasn't been definitive, I'll give her that, and her statements have actually created a problem than they've solved. Look, the only police has the authority to fire the secretary is the president, and he's already minimizing her. Be surprised if a ceremonial head rolls at some in the near future. But I think what Donald Trump is committed to continue deporting people that are in this country, starting with criminal illegal aliens, but working his way through an unfortunately very long list.
All right, Kurt, let's go to you. I mean, I mentioned some polling a few minutes ago indicating that voter support for the Trump administration's immigration policies and ICE really do appear to be slipping. What do you attribute that to? And do you think President Trump's actions, Bongino out, Homan being in, I mean, he says he wants an honest investigation into the killing of Alex Preddy. Is that enough to turn this around in that 38% approval rating he has right now?
Probably not, because the reality is most Americans don't know who these people are. They're not big enough names with widespread name ID. So what the administration's doing by putting Bongino aside and elevating Homan is really about buying time to try to let the storm pass a little bit, let the political moment, get some distance from it, and then try to come up with something credible to move the ball down the field again. I think that the idea that the president is trying to turn down the temperature and is listening about these poll numbers, in the face of what they did with Don Lemon, it doesn't seem like they turned down the temperature. But it just seems like Donald Trump's going to move from Minneapolis and ICE to another target that he feels very comfortable fighting. Donald Trump likes fights, and he likes fights on fertile ground that he feels like there is a case to be made that his base will support, that he can win again, versus what we're seeing. It's a lot less sympathetic in terms of Don Lemon versus a 5-year-old being, abandoned by their parents and, with a blue bonnet hat on.
Yeah, Kurt, I want to stay with you quickly on something else that came to the forefront tonight. Representative Ilhan Omar, she was sprayed by a man with a substance during a town hall event this past Tuesday. Now, authorities ultimately investigating, they say they believe that substance was apple cider vinegar. But last hour, I spoke with Dahlia Al-Akidi. She's a Republican Minnesota congressional candidate who is running against Omar. This is what she had to tell me. Let's take a listen.
I was a war zone reporter. I've been shot at, bombed at, and if I am sprayed by a liquid, I'll be just running, taking care of myself, because this is scary. Her reaction was, I don't know. I don't understand her reaction.
Are you saying that her reaction was a negative thing, or do you admire that she continued to finish her statement and her speech?
I don't admire stupidity. Being brave doesn't mean that you have to be stupid.
Kurt, any reaction to this?
Okay, first of all, then, are we going to say that when Donald Trump was shot at and he stood up and went like that, we're going to say that he was stupid? I mean, come on here, folks. We got to get to a place where we can acknowledge certain fundamental things, regardless of where you sit on the spectrum. Anyone doing what happened to Ilhan Omar is wrong, period. Frankly, President Trump's reaction to it is unbecoming of the office when you try to make it out like maybe she set this up herself. This is just ridiculous. It's disqualifying to me as an American citizen. I don't care if it happens to a Republican, a Democrat, an independent. It's wrong. It's not okay. And if we can't all get behind just that fundamental premise, we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Matt, what is your take here? And Kurt just brought this up. I mean, what's your response to President Trump after the spraying, saying she probably had herself sprayed?
Well, two things. I think, one, the quoting about immigration numbers, that's a Democrat poll. That's the Democratic Party's messaging. But going directly to this, I have two words for that candidate: media. She needs some help in a big way.
Matt, we're having some audio issues with you. So the second word cut out. What was the second word? Media what?
Media training.
It cut out again.
Media training. Media training.
I got it. We got it. We got it in the end. Media training. Understood. Matt, keep going.
Look, Donald Trump's comments, again, they're typical of Donald Trump. He said he hadn't even seen the video Ilhan Omar has said some pretty caustic things about the Biden, but two wrongs don't make a right. Again, I agree with you 100%. It should not be tolerated in the American body politic. So it's very, very frustrating. Thankfully, it was much to do about nothing. We don't know that until after the fact, and I would be very, very scared if I were any candidate right now.
Matt Klink, Kurt Bardella, always appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
See you next weekend.
Have a good one. All right, so from the